All right. It's another episode. AI Made Simple.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
So today we're learning some things. We're used, most of the conversations that of the clients that I've worked with always starts at the doorstep of, hey, I think I need a new website, or I need a website. And our minds are set to where we're expecting the folks that we serve, our prospects, our customers, and even our team, that they're going to go to our website, they're going to learn about what we do, and it's going to give them confidence to come closer, to connect, to reach out, do business with you. And that's the intent. That's the intent when someone says, hey, I think I need a new website. They're like, I got this business. I know I got to be relevant somewhere. And that's where it starts. And so today, what if you don't need a website? What if you actually want to let's just capture all your subject matter expertise in your head? What's a website representing? It's representing how does your solution fit in the future of your prospect's life. And so what you need is like some way to convey that. You think about the folks that we really appreciate, that the books that we enjoy or the podcasts that we listen to, what are they doing? They have taken the time to collect all that subject matter expertise in their head, and they've organized it in a way that it makes it easy for you to get and pick up and appreciate what they're promoting. They're promoting a way to think about the world differently, right? And so that's valuable. And so what if we could do that instead of a website? You think about it different. Well, one of the ways that I like to see what's going on is that I look at what's happening. What are some examples of what the future might look like for us? So the other day I was looking around on Google Labs, and they have this experiments area. And one thing is that they are called portraits. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's go look at this together and talk about it. All right, here we go. So this is called labs.google/portraits gallery. And what are we looking at here? We're looking at a version of the future. Now, what is this? When we are in a bunch of these conversations, we talk about Chat GPT and custom GPTs, right? And so if I go over here, here's a custom GPT, one of my most popular free custom GPTs that I share with folks. Hang on. So I'm not sharing. Let me share it right. Share the screen, share the window. Here we go. That's showbiz. All right, so here we are. We're looking at what a custom GPT is. Now, if we're comparing it to this is basically a future version of what a custom GPT is. A custom GPT is basically, instead of off-the-shelf Chat GPT, you've taken it and you've baked in a knowledge base, you've baked in a job description, and you've baked in a way for it to interact and present. And so it's not just a general one size fits all. It becomes very specialized. And when we look at these portraits here, what is this? This is a specialized representation of someone's expertise. They have two folks here. One is Kim Scott and one is Matt Dix. And so what does this mean? When you think about in our world, we have these limitations of time, resources, money, and then expertise, right? What's the real value of what we're doing? And this is how, this is a representation or an example of what the future looks like. Instead of a website, here's my website, my agency website. You think about the designing, the thinking that went into this website. All right, the folks that are going to come here are generally from this perspective. They're expecting to find what, and we're trying to communicate in a way to a wide audience. And then we're hoping that they start to filter down. They want to go to the service page, or they want to see more about, they're going to want to learn. Hopefully they're hanging around. Hey, I found what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to go deeper. And then this confirms it. And then they're going to click and start to reveal who they are and interact with you. Well, this is the future version of that. When we click on this, who are we meeting? We're meeting the subject matter expertise. This is a interactive website that is going to actually, we're expanding her expertise in radical candor or radical respect. She's the author of those 2 books. I'm very familiar with them. She's also done extensive coaching. Now look at this. She's coaching at these big name companies. Well, she gets paid a pretty penny to do that. And then imagine you read her book and you go, golly, I wish I could afford, one of my limitations is money. But if I could afford to get expertise coaching from Kim, then that would elevate me and get me where I want to go. And well, guess what? Why don't you have a version of this on your website that could do exactly that? People want to come and they want to spend a little time. They want to get a clear understanding of what value you can add to their life. They're going to test it. They're going to spend the time. They're going to go through their buyer's journey in the way that they go through. Everybody's different. But here's the thing. This is a unique, it's not a one size fits all. This is only relevant to me. I get to go the path I want, and I get to interact in how I want to. So let's say I want to become a better communicator. Well, so look at that. I don't know if you can hear this today, but you're actually able to have a conversation. You can click on this menu, this microphone, and talk one-to-one with this knowledge base that's been baked into and following a specific prompt, just like in a custom GPT. So that's what's going on here. They have a nice representation. This is AI generated, by the way. They took a nice image and they put it through a process, and it gives this nice look and feel. Then you have her knowledge base. Obviously, she has books. And then they put the role description. You're going to be a coach. And so this is an interactive process that exists now. But imagine going from a one-size-fits-all website like this to, hey, I'm here. I want to get some value at my speed, the value that I'm interested in. And then imagine when this tool discerns intent, it starts to offer, hey, would you like to set up a time to talk to Kim? You can do this either on a website. You can do this even over the phone. And all this technology exists now. But it's the way that you think about it. And it's basically, if we deconstruct this, this is just a custom GPT, much in the way that we have here. And this custom GPT is an experience that you can create in Google Gemini. You can create it in ChatGPT. You can create it in X and other platforms. But the thinking is brilliant, but this is where your future model of interacting with your prospects is going to land. And you can get there now. The subtitle on this is like, your customer experience is what wins and connects with folks. This is a big competitive advantage, and it's something that you can start to embrace. So I encourage you to go over to labs.google/portraits and play around with this and understand that that you don't need to type. You can, you see this as an option to type, or you can pick pre-suggested um, um, prompts, but you can just discuss and have. So this is excellent, and this is where the taking the time and downloading the subject matter expertise. Every business owner, every leader, every coach has a subject matter expertise that's unique. We don't need to be Kim. We can just be us, but we have to download our subject matter expertise. We need to put it into a format that that's what's beautiful thing about artificial intelligence, these large language models. It can quickly digest all of that material, and then it can start to represent your answers based on the prompting and the training of this model. So you can go from having just a typical website to actually having a version of this immediately, whether it's via a phone version. So let's imagine that you're a family law attorney. And a family law attorney, um, obviously they got in to help folks work through the many storms that families go through. They have an expertise. They probably have a desire to help um, people they care about work through tough problems. But imagine you're that attorney and you're always getting these phone calls or people asking you all the questions that are typical questions that you get asked. How much does it cost? Do you do this? What does it look like here? They're wanting to get clarity whether to trust you or not. And imagine having a representative, a virtual representative that expands your capabilities significantly and can handle those hundreds of preliminary questions, yet can start to filter and qualify the ones that are just right for your practice. Imagine that. Well, you can do this via a phone call. Imagine a version of this that is a voice agent handling these preliminary and qualifying aspects in a phone conversation. And as soon as it discerns that, hey, this is actually, you would be a good fit for Kim, then it would begin to work through setting up an appointment and or collecting a down payment. This is all completely doable now, immediately, but this is the future. This is where things are going. Before getting on this call today, I thought, I'm wanting to get my thoughts together and get organized, but here I built a website just for today's presentation. Man, I am impressive today. This is the first legitimate, well thought out website I've ever built. And I did it in just a few seconds using Google Gemini. And so start building nope, not a website, start building a mind, because your competitors are. And this is how what we've been showing is how to clone your expertise with AI and move beyond a brochure website and create a customer experience that wins the future. So the old way was having a static one-size-fits-all website, but the new way is a dynamic one-on-one conversation with an expert, and it talks with people. One thing I think about is, like, imagine after 100 phone calls, being able to take all of that data and realize, I thought people asked this question more, but over 100 phone calls, you would figure out that people actually ask a bunch more questions, maybe different questions than you expected. So you are an expert, but we need to get your expertise. We need to download it and build out a beautiful knowledge base. Then we can start to build your digital twin. And that's when we design the prompt, we upload your knowledge base, And then we define the role, expectation of that assistant. And so you're moving people from a prospect to a partner, and you're expanding your potential. Here's an example. Man, this is an impressive website, Steve. Well, thank you. It was the first website I ever built. Imagine what my 100th website would look like. All right. So if you're ready to build your digital expert, then guess what? That's what I do. I work with leaders day in and out, and we create their knowledge base. We set this up, we turn them loose. Imagine being able to get your team to clearly communicate exactly what's in your head. That's the big lever. That's why these people get paid the big bucks. These people that you go see at industry events, podcasts, interviews, they did this work in a form or fashion. They got their expertise, they got it organized, and they got it in a way where many people can understand what they see and hear. It's a big leadership leverage. So what did we learn today? The future is bright. It's going to not be a one size fits all. It's going to be a unique version of what you need will be in every aspect of your life. We're moving from a centralized form of information, there's a one size fits all website, to an interactive, custom made experience that's perfect just for you. We know that this is doable immediately because of custom GPTs. We know that you can, even guys like me can build a website in just a few seconds, but we can start to communicate clearly and better. And that's another great episode here on AI Made Simple. We got this beautiful link tree. Cue the music here. Let's get some music. So here's your free link tree. Go to roionline.com/linktree. These are all free. These are custom GPTs to help you work through issues, quick wins immediately for what's going on in your life. Maybe you need a prompt coach for your project. You're working in chat projects, ChatGPT projects. Here's a great prompt coach just for turning that project into a great project manager. On and on. Let me know which one's your favorite. Got a newsletter that goes out every week, AI Made Simple. Subscribe. It's simple. We got monthly AI tips for business owners, specifically exclusive access, free tools and templates like I just shared. If you got some value, like and subscribe. That helps me. Tell all your friends and neighbors. We'll see you on the next episode of AI Made Simple. I'm Steve Brown. I appreciate you. Steve ROI Brown. How about that? And that's a wrap.